Okay, so welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be looking at getting this floor finished and hopefully move on to some sound deadening and insulation. So the flooring that was in this van was screwed through the metal floor, which is unfortunate. Every other van we've done, the original flooring is glued down, and it is difficult to get up, but it is not, doesn't cause any damage. But this one is basically screwed straight through the metal, and obviously left a lot of little holes. So they all need cleaning up and sealing. And then the areas, like in the last video, where the rust underneath the paint, where the paint's bubbled up, we're going to clean all those up with a wire brush and get some anti-rust primer on there just to help seal that all up, and then get some paint on it. Once that's all done, we can move on to getting some sound deadening and insulation in. So if you are enjoying these videos, please do like and subscribe. It really does help the channel, and we'll get on with the video.
So unfortunately we're starting off with a time lapse, but this is a really long, boring job, and unfortunately it's got to be one of those jobs that has to be done right, and it has to be done now before the floor goes in. So I grabbed that little 3.5 inch DA sander, and I think it was on 180 grit discs, and set about cleaning any patches on the floor that needed attention. So some of the paint had bubbled up, and although there wasn't really any rust underneath it, other than those tie down points at the back, there wasn't really rust on the floor as such. But a couple of areas where the paint had bubbled up, obviously is potential for a moisture trap, and since you're not going to be able to get to these places once the flooring is in, it has to be done now. So grind them all back to bare metal, all the screw holes, all the little areas. This obviously took a fair while to do, and we're zipping through it on the time lapse, and even that's been cut because it just took forever. But once we cleaned it all up, we moved on to the next stage. Just clean it all out and start sealing it up. So once that was completed, I grabbed a tube of sealer and a can of primer and set about sealing up the floor. So the sealer I'm using is Stixel, which is a modified polymer sealer. Basically, it's really strong, very good stuff. You can use all sorts for this. I don't recommend silicone, but you could definitely use polyurethane adhesive or something along those lines. But basically anything that's going to grip well and not let go. You just don't want any moisture to get underneath that floor. The paint I'm using there is red oxide primer, and used it for years, basically for any metal, bare metal basically. It just stops it rusting, and it's something that's been used for years and years. I'm not really sure. Obviously it's oxide paint, but I'm not sure what's in it. But if anybody knows in the comments, please let us know. But it's a fairly well regarded anti-rust primer. So all the little holes, bit of sealer, and then red oxide primer and all the bare metal. Again, this took a little while to sort out, but once it was all done, this stage it just cannot be rushed. You need to make sure it's 100%, because like I said, once this floor is in, you're not going to see it again, and whatever happens underneath the floor, you're going to have to live with.
Okay, so the areas in the last video where you could see all the rust, you could still see some slight pitting on that, but it's pretty clean now. This one was the same, slightly worse in this corner, but not too bad. A lot of little areas and the screw holes. So we'll seal all these up and get it all sealed up and painted.
Okay, then on into the back of the van, and the same story as the front then. Basically fill up all the little holes with the sealer, and then grab the can of red oxide primer and paint the floor, all the bare metal areas with that. It doesn't really need a top coat over that. It seals up the metal pretty well, and I mean, you can top coat it, but you're not going to see it, so it's a bit of a waste of time and money. So obviously, if you are enjoying these videos and if they do help and you want to help out, the best thing you can do obviously is just hit the subscribe button and press the like button. It really does make a big difference to the channel, not just my channel, any channel. If you're enjoying the videos you're watching, please like and subscribe. It really does help. So this took a little while, obviously. This time lapse has been cut down considerably again, and it's quite a satisfying job getting it all done, especially cleaned up all the area. And we know that from this point on, it's mostly on about the conversion then. So once this is all finished up, we're gonna go on to the sound deadening. So once the floor had dried off a bit, onto the sound deadening. So basically the sound deadening I'm using here is Silent Coat. I think I bought it on eBay. It comes in packs of 30 sheets. And what I'm doing is basically just degreasing all the panels, making sure they're clean and dry, and then using that heat gun to warm everything up. Obviously it's very, very cold in my garage, and it just helps make the panels more pliable and make the pads more sticky. So heat everything up and stick them on, and then using that roller just to help smooth them out. So don't use anything pointed or to try and push those on, because all you'll do is end up denting the panels. But using the roller just keeps it nice and flat and helps put an even pressure on the sound deadening. There's a bit of debate on how much to use on the panel, but this it worked out quite well. It just takes the resonance out of the each panel. So that's Alan just popped in now to put some measurements on the van itself, some reference points for bits and pieces that we're going to be doing soon. So once this is all placed, both sides, I use the whole box basically, just doing these panels, both sides and on the front cab. Okay, so I got the sound deadening in. Bit of debate as to whether you go the full panel or just the middle, but to be honest, especially on a van this size, to go the whole panel would be very expensive for a start, but it really is unnecessary. There's obviously sound deadening to go on the panels, and then insulation and everything else. It's more than enough for what it needs, and just the small bits of sound deadening in the middle do make a massive difference. So once that was done, made a start with the insulation, started putting in the plastic insulation in everywhere basically. Haven't done the middle bit yet, but done the top and doing the bottoms as well. So the flooring, I managed to pick up an original VW floor locally. Ed at Celtic Motorhomes, he has a few of these that he takes out when he does his conversions, and went down to pick one up. I believe he sells these on eBay. So this literally is a brand new floor from a van that was delivered for conversion, and he took them out and stored them. Had to modify it because obviously this was from a front wheel drive van and the rear tubs are a lot smaller, but we got that nice and tight, scribed around there, and all the tie down points fit in, so that's looking a lot neater all of a sudden. Much better, starting to come together. This is the proper first part of the conversion. Okay, so the bits that weren't painted didn't actually match the new paint. Unfortunately, the colour match wasn't good enough. So the rest of the van now is being painted. The top half of the van, the side loading door, again, that didn't match, and there was a small repair to do on that, so that's been done. And the bonnet, although the bonnet is literally perfect, it also being painted because it doesn't match the rest of the van. So there's 6 different shades of this white colour, and they are very different, some of them. And this one's quite blue, and the one that was on the van was quite creamy colour. I'll dig a few out and show you now basically, but you can see the difference in the colours. Although they are all the same colour, they're different variants of the same colour. So unfortunately, we paint this much of the van, and white is quite a difficult one to match up, and again it's quite difficult to blend, so it kind of makes sense just to do the rest of the van. There's a few marks on the back doors, so they're being redone as well. So basically the whole van is now being repainted.
Okay, so that's the rest of the van painted. Above the windscreen hasn't been done and the bonnet hasn't been done, but the rest of the roof has, and the side loading door has been done, and both sides basically above the roof line. So that's all done. To do above the windscreen, we have to turn the van around and get it in this way to give us a bit more space basically, because it's obviously quite a big van. So that'll be prepped and painted, and the bonnet can come off at any time and be done, so we're not too worried about that. So that's going to be pretty much it for the bodywork, except that the new paint that we've got didn't quite match the old new paint, if that makes sense, that we painted on the van. So it's a bit disappointing, but it is very, very close, and it's one of those things you don't notice until we point it out, and then you can't unsee it. It's so close, most people wouldn't even notice. So I'm happy with it as it is for now. If it does bug me down the road, then obviously I'll get it painted again, but I really don't want to go down that route if we can help it. So yeah, that's going to be it for the bodywork on this, hopefully, and we can actually crack on now properly with the conversion. So that is going to be it for this video. Please do like and subscribe. Like I said, it really does help the channel out, and we'll see you again next time on the next video. Thank you very much. Bye bye.